thought he had a headwind or something. He's going sideways. I was watching this helicopter earlier, and I was thinking my old thoughts about flight. I just wish so much that man could fly like Superman. There would be some method. And I've tried and I've tried and I've tried to understand gravity, and I don't think there's anyone who understands gravity, and I've read different claims to gravity. There was the old idea of gravitons that I think kind of has been either proven wrong or there's no reason to believe it. Then they have the idea of space-time. That's space-time is fake. That's all just a bunch of made-up stuff by people who don't really understand Einstein too well, or facts. So I keep thinking, what is the way, by what method could a man ever fly with a suit or something? And I actually was reading something or watching a video, believe it or not, from Flat Earth, which is not exactly the greatest source for information, but they presented some pretty interesting ideas. And they were explaining that gravity, in their opinion, was not caused by planets. I think, if I remember correctly, that planets don't draw you down, that density does, which just doesn't make sense, because the idea being that like a bubble rises in water because the bubble has less density per square inch than the water, and therefore, since it has less density, then it rises. Well, that makes no sense. Why would it, without gravity, why would it rise just because it has less density? And what would cause it to rise, or what would cause something to fall, like a hammer, just because it has greater density per square inch? They're not really, they don't understand science. I don't think flat earthers really understand science. They didn't pay attention in school, or they went to public school or something, so they don't have good education, but they have an armchair interest, but they don't have a good solid foundation, and so they're duped by these guys. So, but I think that's still validly true that a bubble rises in water because it has less density per square inch than the water around it. And then gravity basically acts on the water, and because it has less, the bubble has less greater density, then it is allowed to be squeezed upward by the water. The water pressure pushes it upward, I think. And a hammer falls because it has greater density than water. It has greater density than water. And so the gravity pulls it down, whatever gravity is. I don't know that anybody knows what gravity is. If you do, please tell me. I'd love to know. Because if once you understood gravity, then maybe you could work on anti-gravity. So, I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking, well, a helium balloon and a hydrogen balloon, like the Hindenburg, those go upward because the gas has a less density per square inch than the surrounding air. That's my understanding. And so that's how blimps work. Okay. And I'm sitting here thinking about it. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. What if, well, let's say an air balloon, a hot air balloon. They're called hot air balloons. Cold air has greater density because the molecules are not moving very much. They're closer compacted together. So cold air has a higher density per square inch than just ambient air, because the ambient air is being warmed by the sun. But once you heat up that cold air, the molecules start bouncing around real fast, and they spread out. And now they have lower density than just the ambient sunlit air, because now you have a close fire. And that fire, you pull the cord, and the fire hits the air in the air balloon. It spreads out, it puffs up the balloon, and then it takes off into flight. Okay. So it dawns on me. What if you could wear some sort of a suit, some sort of a device, whether it be a suit or an aircraft, that used some technology, a laser, I don't know what, something, to part the air above you, to this laser, this whatever this thing would be, it would spread out the air above you and, in a sense, create a vacuum, where the air above you was less dense than the air below you. Wouldn't you, like a bubble, shoot upward? And when you want to go downward, you'd lessen that feature, and gravity would take back over again. It's just an idea. It's something I've been thinking about just now.